Hi, I'm Ashay. I'm an engineer by training and a storyteller by passion. I made this podcast to talk about data science, but no math, no equations, just intuitions behind data science. The episodes are not in any particular order, and you can just tune into any episode and listen to something related to data science. Let's get started. When we have some data in front of us, the data comes in the form of data objects and some features associated with each data object. And we saw in some other episodes that the types of data attributes or types of data features could be several. It could be a categorical variable, it could be some other type of variable, but basically what we have is each variable or each attribute or each feature of a particular data object is going to have some value. And then when you are looking at this data in a sample space, those values are going to follow some kind of distribution in the sample space. Now that distribution could be anything. That distribution could be a normal distribution or uniform distribution, um, any sort of distribution. The problem with this phenomenon is when you have data with several kinds of distributions within them, it is going to be difficult to apply any data analysis methods to it, because you can't really predict the behavior of the data within the population if the features of the data are going to have different distributions, different types of distributions. So therefore, here central limit theorem comes to rescue. And what central limit theorem does or says that whenever you take mean of of the feature of a particular feature of the data, and if you take these means over different sample spaces within the population, then the distribution of means within different samples of the population is going to follow particular a particular type of distribution, which is normal distribution. So what central limit theorem does is it kind of standardizes the distribution of features within data. So I know this sounds pretty confusing and pretty math like in this, but let me try to explain it in some simple terms. So what all we are trying to do is there is variability in data within a sample space, correct? Because every feature is going to have some value, and then those values are going to follow some kind of distribution within the sample. But if you take different samples within the same population, and if you take the means, if you take the average of features in each sample space, and if you look at the distribution of these averages within the population, then those means are going to follow one single type of distribution, which is a normal distribution. And that's why, because of this, you can apply whatever data analysis methods there are that can be applied to normal distribution to these means, and therefore you can do data analysis in much more predictive fashion than you could by looking at just one single sample space. This phenomenon of distribution of means approaching a normal distribution is called central limit theorem. And just keep this in mind that for central limit theorem to work, you need to have different sample spaces within the population, and you need to be able to calculate the averages of features, each feature within a sample space, and take the distribution of those averages over a population. Thanks for tuning in. I made this podcast to talk about intuitions behind data science, and we'll talk about some other idea in the next episode. There will be no math, no equations, just intuitions behind data science. See you soon.